A few years back, a behavioral psychologist conducted a simple but revealing experiment. Two men, same looks, same clothes, same environment. Both approached women at the same social gathering. Only one variable was different. 2 words. Just 2. One man used them. The other didn't. The outcome? Almost unbelievable. One was brushed off politely, forgotten within seconds. The other had women leaning closer, smiling more, wanting the conversation to continue. By the end of this video, you'll know what those 2 words are, and more importantly, the deep psychological reason they work on such a powerful level of human attraction. Stay with me, because this insight can permanently change how you communicate. Welcome back. And if you're new here, this channel is about one thing: understanding the psychology behind human behavior so you can connect, communicate, and move through life at a higher level. Today, we're diving beneath the surface. Not pickup tricks, not rehearsed lines, but the real mechanics of attraction, the kind rooted in human psychology. And it all revolves around 2 simple words. But before I reveal them, you need to understand why they work. Because knowing what to say without understanding why it works is like holding a key without knowing which door it opens. So let's start with a story. Meet Daniel. Daniel was 28. Good job. Decent looking. Polite. Intelligent. On paper, there was nothing wrong with him. But whenever he tried to talk to women he liked, something fell apart. He'd open with safe, generic questions. "Hey, how's your night going?" "So, what do you do for work?" They'd respond politely, smile briefly, then drift away. Daniel couldn't understand it. He was respectful. He was kind. He was doing everything he'd been told was right. Yet nothing stuck. One night, a close female friend told him something that changed everything. She said, "Talking to you sometimes feels like being interviewed, like you're reading questions off a checklist." That hit him hard, because it was true. Daniel wasn't connecting. He was performing. Everything changed the moment he stopped trying to say the correct thing and started saying something real. And that shift came down to 2 words. Here's what most people misunderstand about attraction. Attraction isn't primarily visual. Yes, looks create the first impression. Evolution backs that up. But the attraction that lingers, the kind that makes someone think about you, hours later comes from something else. It comes from how you make someone feel. This is where neuroscience gets fascinating. Researchers studying mirror neurons discovered something remarkable. These are brain cells that fire not only when we act, but when we observe others acting. In simple terms, your nervous system mirrors the emotional state of the person in front of you. So what does that mean? If you enter a conversation anxious, approval-seeking, and outcome-focused, she feels it, even if she can't explain it. Her body picks up the tension, and suddenly, something feels slightly off. But here's the other side. If you show up grounded, present, genuinely curious, she feels that too. Her nervous system mirrors calm. She feels seen, comfortable, energized. This is why charismatic people seem almost mysterious. They're not saying magical things. They're creating emotional experiences. Now this brings us to the 2 words. Humanistic psychologist Carl Rogers built an entire career around one core insight. Human beings have a deep, primal need to feel understood. Not judged, not evaluated. Understood. He called this empathic understanding. And he found something powerful. People who could create this feeling, even briefly, were perceived as deeply attractive, trustworthy, and compelling. Not just romantically, in every human interaction. So what are the two words? They are, you seem. Simple, but incredibly powerful. And here's why they work on such a deep psychological level. First, they signal attention. When you say, you seem, you communicate something subtle, but rare. You've been paying attention. Not to your phone, not to the room, not to your own nerves, to her. In a distracted world, genuine observation feels intimate. Second, they invite curiosity without pressure. You seem isn't a statement. It's not, you are adventurous. That feels presumptuous. Instead, it's a soft reflection, an opening. It says, I'm noticing something about you, and I'm curious if I'm right. That uncertainty is magnetic. It invites engagement rather than forcing it. Third, it activates self-disclosure. Here's something fascinating from social psychology. Studies have shown that talking about ourselves activates reward centers in the brain, the same ones triggered by food or money. We are wired to enjoy being understood. So when you say, you seem like someone who doesn't settle for average, she feels compelled to respond, to confirm, to correct, to expand. Either way, she's now emotionally involved. But here's the part most people miss. The words only work when followed by something specific and perceptive. Not generic praise. Don't say, you seem really pretty. That's a compliment she's heard 100 times. Instead, say things like, you seem like someone who laughs at their own jokes before finishing them. You seem like you've lived more life than most people in this room. You seem more interesting than you're letting people see right now. Notice the difference? You're not complimenting her appearance. You're reflecting her essence. You're showing that you see her, and that creates something rare. Emotional relevance. That's the formula. You seem plus specific. Thoughtful observation equals instant psychological connection. And this is exactly what changed everything for Daniel. After that conversation with his friend, he tried something different. At another gathering, instead of asking routine questions, he walked up to a woman, smiled, and said, you seem like you've been here before, but under very different circumstances. She paused, then laughed, and suddenly she opened up. She told him about the time she came to that same place after a terrible job interview, how she ordered the most expensive drink just to rebel, how she met a bartender that night who later became her business partner. Daniel didn't dominate the conversation. He listened, reflected, stayed present. At one point, he said, you seem like someone who turns chaos into stories. Later, she told him it was one of the most memorable first conversations she'd ever had. Now, let's go deeper. In psychology, this ability has a name: perceptive attunement, the skill of noticing and accurately reflecting another person's inner world. Therapists train for years to develop it, and research shows that when someone feels truly seen, the brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, the same chemical involved in deep friendships, parental bonds, and romantic attachment. In other words, making someone feel understood is biologically bonding. This is why great leaders, great teachers, and deeply attractive individuals share one trait. They make you feel significant, not because they're the most impressive person in the room, but because they make you feel like you are. There's another layer here. Psychologist Robert Cialdini identified a core principle of persuasion called liking. We are naturally drawn to people who make us feel understood and aligned. You seem compresses the trust timeline. It instantly positions you as perceptive, empathetic, different, and rarity creates attraction. But there are pitfalls. First mistake, using it like a script. If it sounds rehearsed, people feel it instantly. Remember, mirror neurons' authenticity is felt, not just heard. This isn't a pickup line. It's a mindset. Become genuinely curious about people. The words will follow naturally. Second mistake, making it about looks. Again, "You seem beautiful" misses the point. Reflect character, energy, presence. That's where real connection lives. Third mistake, failing to listen. The goal of "you seem" is to open the door. Once it opens, your job is presence, not planning your next line, not trying to impress, just being there. Because attraction isn't built on cleverness, it's built on emotional presence. Let me leave you with this. Most people are walking through life waiting to be noticed, waiting for someone to truly see them. The person who learns to see others deeply, attentively, sincerely becomes magnetic. Not because of status, not because of looks, but because of how they make people feel. 2 words, "You seem." But behind those words is a philosophy. Be curious. Pay attention. Notice what others overlook. Reflect it back with sincerity. Do that consistently, and you won't just improve attraction. You'll deepen friendships, strengthen professional relationships, and experience life with more richness. Daniel learned that. Now you have too. If this gave you something valuable, hit like it helps this message reach the people who need it. Subscribe if you want more psychology that actually changes how you see the world. And in the comments, tell me this. What's the most interesting you seem observation you could make about someone you know? I'll see you in the next one.